You can see the glow on our faces, like this is so much better.
Well, I don't
No,
have any glow. It's like it's not fair, you know. There's no glow on my end, you know.
Well, that's
Not fair.
experience, you know. If you did
You have to. That's like part of how I got to be an entrepreneur. I always like wanted to have these two things. I tried corporate, it didn't really work out. Then I went to the US.
I'd be really interested in knowing. So you've done all your backstory, then you came up to obviously doing the social cat. How then did the clip come to be, and how did that all happen?
right. So today we have Stefan, who is one of the co-founders of Clip, and yeah, we're happy to have him to discuss his background.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, though. Really a pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks so much for joining the podcast. First of all,
Thank you for having me.
It's the first episodes with one of the co-founders of Clip. So it is a first time for everything. Girls would love to know more about your background, just your journey in terms of like how did you end up in this position? How did you become an entrepreneur, and how's the life in general? And we're more than excited to hear about the journey and everything.
Amazing stuff. Let me think about it. I haven't done this in a while. It's like I feel like in the last time I got asked, like tell me a bit about your life story and how you ended up doing what you're doing today. It was like a few years ago when I was actually doing interviews, So I was just like, okay, like tell me about your life story, How did you get here? What did you do in the past? So that's great. I haven't done this in a while. So if I have to reverse it, like just like kind of do a bit of like reverse engineering. I'm not going to go into that kind of like discussion that I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur or stuff like that. I think like a lot of people are bullshitting over there, to be honest with you. I think a lot of time people just like end up being entrepreneurs in different like various circumstances, sometimes by accident as well. Sometimes they want to become entrepreneurs. So it's just like a bunch of like mixes. I know there's a lot of people that say, okay, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think it works for some people, but I don't think that's the case for everyone. What I can say though, in my case, like more precisely, let's put it like that, I always knew that I want to have some things and I kind of just like work my way around to actually get those things. But it wasn't like, I didn't know it's going to be like entrepreneurship, right? So what I always wanted is just like freedom. So personally, when I'm talking about freedom, there's like two things. I really enjoy my time freedom and location freedom and do just like whatever the heck I want, just like organize myself, right? So back in the days when I just like graduated from college in Romania or like uni or like whatever, I had like a corporate job for 1 year in Bucharest. It was sales. I had to just like kind of like trading, not very fancy trading and very complicated. It was just like forex, forex trading. And I had to kind of like convince people to basically invest. It was a good experience. I had some good results, but the problem was over there. It just like didn't really meet the criteria of like having that kind of like freedom, right? So that was actually my first condition. I was just like in the office and I was like, for fuck's sake, I can't really see myself in like 20 years doing exactly what these people are doing now. Just like you look up and you see like, okay, this is what you get in the next 10 to 15 years. And you just do like a bit of exercise. Do you want to be over there? Do you want to be in that position? So I used to do that quite a lot, especially in that job. And I realized, okay, this isn't really working for me. But to reverse this, it's again, just like I'm looking for two things. I was looking for two things that actually led me to this position. First of all, again, like freedom. I really like to just like organize myself and do my own thing. And then at the same time, financial freedom. And I personally think there's a few ways to get to financial freedom, to be honest with you. But like one of the ways to do this is like, being an entrepreneur. So these were like the two things that I always looked for when I wanted to do this. Now, if I have to just like kind of like reverse it back a bit, when I saw that after I graduated in Romania, I'm just like an engineer by degree, right? So it was just like it was like engineering. I did that job for a year and I realized, okay, this is not going to cut the chase. I'm actually looking for something else. And then I just like decided to leave for the US. So I lived in the US for 3 years. And that was like really interesting. And it's just like, it was a very, very good experience for me to just learn and become become better in pretty much like everything. I think like in your 20s you really really have to do that. But that's like part of how I got to be an entrepreneur. I always like wanted to have these two things. I tried corporate, it didn't really work out. Then I went to the US. I just like did a bunch of like kind of like changing locations in the US, and that was like really good, right? There was like I met two things over there. I had two things. I had the financial freedom. I was making quite good money for that time, especially for someone that's 24, 25 years old. And I was like very happy about that. But the thing is like, it didn't really have that much time freedom. I was like really like stuck into one location all the time. I always had a schedule, and it was just like, like I wasn't really happy about that. There was like some other problems over there, just like mostly like visa related, but I'm not going to get into those ones because they're not,
That's another
I can't
episode.
can't talk about those ones, that's a totally different story. So yeah, just like, came back in Romania, and the plan was like quite simple. Let me go back and see if I can actually make something over there. And if I'm not going to be able to just like do something over there, kind of either like build a small business or just like see how the vibe is in Romania, I'm going to come back to the US. So back in 2019, I had a really good plan of just like going back into the US to make things work over there, and just like kind of like knew what I was about to do. But in the meantime, I got just like obviously I kept in touch with all my friends and colleagues from high school. I was chatting quite a bit with Caesar. Caesar was basically running like a new com startup. Tremo Books, obviously, Maria, you know this one, and he was needing some help over there. We tried some other ideas in the past, but when I started working for Tremo Books, I was like, okay, this actually like makes sense. It was like those times, when like pre-COVID, and I was just like having the freedom to organize my time the way I want, organize my work the way I want. And there was like potential for just like earning quite a bit as well. So I was like, okay, I actually feel comfortable in this. I finally feel that I have something that is going to lead me to the things that I want to actually get. And that's how basically the journey started. Now, fast forward with Tremo Books, it didn't work out, and that's fine. Things are not working out all the time, and that's actually like a blessing in disguise, although it's not very comfortable at the moment. The idea is that's how we actually started Social Cat, like working with a lot of influencers at Tremo Books. We realized there are some problems over there, or some things that can be actually executed better. They can be executed better for a specific subset of people, right? Which is like small to medium sized brands, right? So that's how we actually started Social Cat. I'm just actually going to transition to Social Cat and tell you a bit about that one, so because that was like part of the question as well. So yeah, with Social Cat it was like super simple. Okay, there's this problem over here. We think we can actually execute the problem better. So let's just like start something. And the story is like quite fun. Like at the same time, I was just like, okay, I don't want to spend time in Romania. I came to the UK. We started working on Social Cat, and just like the weekends, I even remember the website now. It was just like that pink website that we had. We bought the domain. It was like socialkaat.com. So just like everything like very, very random. And we just like started working on Social Cat in the weekend pretty much. And like from Monday to Friday, I was looking for contracts, on the pretty much like marketing and operation side of things. So that was kind of like the starting point for Social Cat. Obviously, in the past few years, we just like developed Social Cat. We worked through it. We solved some problems over there. We actually like built a business and the team over there, which is like great, to be honest with you. And yeah, next is just, okay, what other problems can we solve? What other things can we actually do? Maybe for the same audience, maybe in the same space, or maybe in other spaces as well at the same time. Because yeah, you always have to be like a bit open-minded and understand that you might actually need to go out of your comfort zone. Let's put it like that. So again, like if I have to sum it up, that's how I basically ended up being an entrepreneur, like being into startups, right? I was looking for these two things always, and I just like searched them until I actually like found the right context. What I knew that, okay, if I work hard enough over here, these conditions are going to be met. Again, like if you're looking for these specific things, you don't really need to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you're going to be like a contractor or something like that, which at the end of the day is kind of like still in the same space. But again, that's what worked for me, and that's what I enjoy doing. And that's how basically I ended up with in this position pretty much.
All right.
Cool.
So you basically manifested it somehow, like.
Yeah, but again, I'm just like a very like practical person. I just don't really want to go into that like kind of like discussion. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think it's like very vague when you say like that. It's indeed like manifesting, but I think like practically, if we just like like strip it down, it's like, okay, what am I looking for, and what is the right context for these conditions to be met? That's how I think about things. So I just like searched and like kind of like basically just like searched until I found it. I think like one important point I want to make over here for whoever listens, maybe like it's good advice or not, is I've seen a lot of people that they stop looking for that because they're afraid to just get out of their comfort zone. And I think that's like a bit of a mistake. I know it's very hard to get out of your comfort zone, but if you don't do it, you're just going to get stuck. And then years pass by, and that's like regret and frustration is being like, built upon.
What if? Yeah.
Exactly. What if? So I think like for me, like some of these changes were like extremely, like not extremely, but like quite difficult, to be honest with you. Even when I left in the US, I was just like, I remember this is like maybe like side story. It's like more motivational. Let's put it like that. And I was like, not very practical. But I even remember like right now when I left the in the US not first time, like this was already the third time. But when I left the third time in the US, I had to like basically even sell my computer to be able to just like have money to spend over there for like the first month. I remember when I got to the US, I had to borrow a phone from someone to tell my family, hey, I'm actually fine. So I was like literally that broke. So some of these things are going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to need to get out of your comfort zone. But if you actually do that, if you push yourself, you're going to realize that nothing is unsolvable and you can manage things and you can like build upon things. And that's how I personally think confidence is built as well, right? Like when you just push yourself out of the comfort zone, you actually see that you can handle things, and then you build that confidence. Like whatever the heck is going to happen, you're going to be able to handle it. So that's what I think like confidence is. I kind of like derailed a bit from the subject, but
No, I
There's-
love
there's
that.
no-
That's
Yeah.
what we're known for, so it's fine.
no, that's what it was. Okay, fair enough.
No, I love the line you used there too, that nothing is unsolvable, because I feel like that is entrepreneurship. It's like trying different things and trying to work it out. And I suppose for me, I'd be really interested in knowing, so you've done all your backstory, then you came up to obviously doing the social cat. How then did the clip come to be, and how did that all happen?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So I think it's like kind of like falls into like a format of just like building a business, right? It's pretty much like the same thing. So when we were working with influencers at Social Cat, like being like down in the nitty gritty, let's call it like that. A lot of the brands at Social Cat, they just like gave us the feedback, hey guys, I'm actually working with influencers just because I need UGC for like my marketing channels, including paid and organic channels, right? So having this kind of feedback, like on a regular basis, is just like it's natural to like ask yourself, okay, is this something that I can just like solve better? Is there like maybe another platform that I can do this and like just like build something around it? Because like influencers, I feel like they're a bit different. They solve like a specific problem, and UGC is like kind of like another problem. Let's put it like this: UGC is more means to an end, right? That's how I see UGC, more means to an end actually. So it was like kind of like natural to ask yourself, can you actually build something around this? The original idea, though, it wasn't like in this format. The original idea was like an agency, like a UGC agency, and like if I'm not mistaken, Maria, like a performance marketing agency at the same time. I don't remember exactly, to be honest with you, but it was like an agency. And then we realized, okay, if you're doing an agency, you have two big problems, right? So it's hard to scale, first of all, and it's hard to scale for just like a bunch of reasons, to be honest with you. And it's like really like operationally intense, right? You have a lot of work to do with your customers, like a lot of hand holding, and it's just like not really like the best option, at least for us from our perspective. So then like we knew there are some competitors in the space. I'm not going to name them anymore here. Like, I don't think it's the case, but we knew there's like some other brands that are doing this, and we're like, okay, this might actually be an opportunity to build a different platform. And it was just like kind of like really like easy to just like figure this one out. And we're like, okay, we have the funds to actually build this. We have the team. We know how to execute product. We know how to do marketing. We know how to just like acquire creators. We know how to acquire brands. We know how to do everything basically. Let's give this one a shot. Let's build an MVP and see if we actually can build something around it. And we've been managing to execute quite fast and well, I would say. So this is how we ended up with Clip. But I think like if you just like kind of zoom out a bit of this and like think a bit about it, is like, okay, building a business or like building a startup, at the end of the day, they're slightly different business and startup, to be honest with you, but that's like another conversation. Is you see a problem and you wonder yourself, okay, is there another way to solve this problem better? And if you can actually just like find a solution for that, That's great. That's how you actually build a business. So even now there's this question, okay, what is happening with Clip? What are the problems these users are facing? It's super important to get that feedback and like see if they actually have other problems that you can solve. And it's the same with Social Cat, right? There's like another idea that we're working out from Social Cat right now, and it's exactly the same format. Find the problem and then see if you can actually solve this problem for this like subset of users. And then you just like execute. Now, this is like kind of like a separate conversation, but there's like a few important pointers over there when you execute on this, but that's like separate conversation.
We can do another episode on that. Don't worry, we have plenty of topics, so plenty of them. Yeah, but we would definitely want to. I would love to hear you talking about like literally like the steps. Like, what do you do? How do you really start the freaking business? Because there's so many people out there that are just
they have the idea, but
they have the idea, they have maybe the knowledge, maybe they don't, or I don't know, but they don't know where to start. Like, what's the first step? What's the freaking first step? What's the next one? How do you actually try to grow it? How do you scale it? Do you need investors? Can you do a bootstrap? What's a bootstrap? And all these like terms that are like might be really, really helpful especially for small brands that are out there, or
definitely,
just
and
people,
brands on Clip as well. It's like, even though they already have a business, but is it actually truly established? Like, is it, is there things that they can think about and consider before jumping into UGC or influencer marketing? Like, actually they can learn so much from this type of video as well. So that would be really cool.
Definitely, yeah. I'm up for it. Like whenever you'd like, just like let me know.
All right, cool. Let's go back to our main discussion. Right, not sure if you have any other like questions for Stefan in terms of the background or anything related to Clip or
I suppose my only question would be, so you've now got Social Cat, you've got Clip. What is your today running, or what is your position as such, I suppose, in Clip? Are you more operations side, or what exactly is your kind of part in it now?
It's a good question.
Nice, thank you. So basically with Clip, I'm actually like more involved than just like the marketing side of things, to be honest with you, and just like occasionally very, very little operations, right? I'm not really doing operations that much. And when I say operations, is maybe just like a bit of support here and there, just like some random things. I'm not actually involved in that side at all. Maria is in charge of that one, to be honest with you. And when I'm saying marketing for Clip, what I'm basically doing is just like pretty much building landing pages, pretty much like these landing pages. I worked quite a bit on them, all the like brands, creators, all the ones that are pretty much engineered by me, but obviously with the help of Maria and Caesar as well.
No, you are doing it. Come on, don't try to make us feel good.
Don't be humble.
Don't be humble. Don't try to make us feel good. No, he's in charge of like the landing page at this point. The only thing like that I would have helped probably was the updating of the videos, like the intro videos and the product videos that you can see on the landing page. But other than that, it's just him, like copy or pretty much anything that you see on the landing page. Obviously, he didn't like code it, but
exactly,
he's
the optimization and all the marketing functionality.
Exactly. So I think it's like important, like when you're building these kind of like landing pages, there's like a specific structure and like format that you have to use and just like kind of like have to think about it. So that's like one, and then like also you have the copywriting and all the elements in page. So basically like all what you see on the website is pretty much like built, just like kind of like thought about it by me, and also like use cases pretty much, and also like the SEO part of things like lately. So this is like what I'm pretty much like revolving at Clip right now, more on the marketing side of things. Like SEO, what I'm saying about SEO is just like obviously we're trying to like what we're trying with like SEO is just like kind of like add this as an acquisition channel on top of like advertising, So we're trying to figure out if this can be done and if we can actually rank higher for a lot of like keywords that are like high intent and we just like drive traffic and conversions from over there. But again, that's like kind of like another conversation if you want to dive deep into that one. Shortly, I'm in charge of like pretty much marketing, and also like on top of that, like probably like ads as well. I'm doing like lots of ads for Clip as well. But that's pretty much the only thing that I'm doing for actually. Occasionally some like product stuff as well, if we have like things that we have to just like chat about, or like how is it better to build something, how is it better to like build these features or things like that. But just like marketing, to be honest with you. For Social Cat, I'm doing marketing kind of like the same, lots of like website, everything that's pretty much on Social Cat now, it's more or less built by me. Lots of ads. I'm doing quite a lot of ads for Social Cat, and also like I'm in charge of operations on Social Cat. So everything that is like demo calls, trial onboarding calls, customer support, or whatever, just like communication towards the customers, I'm in charge of that over there. So I'm pretty much like, bouncing between these like these two everywhere, and like a bit of growth as well.
Cool. So I guess my question would be, in between Social Cat and Clip, can you walk us through brands' biggest challenges on both the platforms? Because obviously with Clip, we're kind of aware, we spoke about it in pretty much every episode. But with Social Cat, can you give us a little insight into that? Because I'm actually on Social Cat as well, so I see all the updates and everything. Keep an eye. And there's so many.
She's
so
watching
many...
you.
Just a fellow marketing manager. No, but it's really cool because Social Cat does come up with like new updates and new functionalities within the app as well. So I would be very interested to hear, are brands pushing for those updates to come out, or how do you guys figure that out?
That's a great question. So I think this kind of like goes back into like kind of like how do you build and grow a startup, right? I think like one important point to make over there is just like when you're building a bootstrap business, which like bootstrap means like you're not taking any outside investment, you just like try to grow from zero. There's like two important, like super important aspects on them. First of all, just like execute very fast. You really have to deliver like features like very fast and see if these features are actually used, and like also see if these features are actually making an impact on your numbers, right? Are customers staying more with you? Are they happy about these features at the end of the day? So that's like first of all. But then like second of all, we've all been just like all these features are built based on feedback from customers, right? So we collect and we just like centralize all this feedback over here, and like we see what's more important over there. So I'll just give you an example, right? There's like 3 features that are being requested right now: Shopify integration, like post collaboration metrics on like social media, and like probably like another one is what's another feature that is being requested? Like probably like more vetting on the creator side of things, but we can't really do that much to be honest with you. Like maybe they're like requesting, they're saying like, okay, it's too expensive, but that's like a separate conversation because you can't really do too much on that. But to like kind of like answer your question, we build like features based on what our customers are saying, So they say, okay, I want Shopify, I want post collaboration metrics, and I also want prospecting. I want to just like reach out to all these influencers on Instagram, on TikTok. So that's how we basically build based on their feedback. Now there's like another conversation whenever you build these ones, but it's just like a bigger conversation of there. How do you rank those ones? Like what's most important? How many resources are actually these ones taking? What is like better to actually execute first? Because maybe instead of just like building Shopify, which might take you, I'm just giving you an example, which might take you like a few months, maybe it's actually better to just build the post collaboration metrics first, and just like, because it's like easier to build and it's going to be like faster. And yeah, there's like a separate, there's like an entire conversation over there as well, but that's how we build features.
Cool.
Prioritizing basically, and it is so hard because people be like, yeah, I mean, obviously you just prioritize whatever you think is going to bring you money, right? But then
time is a big thing, I suppose. Yeah,
like, okay, but is this going to take a long time to build it? Is this actually going to bring us more money? Because trust me, you would never know what is going to bring you money, because I think that the biggest lesson that the guys have learned at Social Cat, obviously, because I'm not involved in Social Cat anymore, but I hear their like struggles and stuff like that, is the fact that they built a lot of features and none of them had made a difference, an impact. And then there were also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stefan, but in some situations some of the metrics like the retention rate dropped, for example, and you would just think like, what the hell is wrong? Like we did so many like features for brands, especially so that we keep them on the platform for longer, but then it literally did the opposite. So it is really, really challenging and hard, and it's just, yeah, just
I
go with your guts and see which one is like priority for you, what you think, of course, but then until you test it, until you prove that it's working, there's no one like who can guarantee that.
I think there's an important like lesson over here, like we learned in social cat. Like first of all, like whatever. So I think the lesson is actually this one: whatever core product and problem you solve, that's basically going to be the bulk of your just like that's how like that's basically the problem you solve, right? Whatever you're going to build around this problem, it's actually not going to like just like impact your numbers that much, or it's going to like make any differences, right? So to give you like and I'm sure there's like people that have different experiences and just like there's different products that actually like build this and it actually worked for them, but I'm talking more about like our experience and like what I've been experiencing. Whatever core problem you solve, that's going to be basically your business. Whatever you build around that one, it's not going to make like a big impact on your numbers, which is a bit sad. Like with Social Cat, we shipped a lot of features, but to be like very frank with you, they haven't really made a difference in our overall numbers. And actually, in some cases, we actually made some things worse, and we just like realized that okay, this wasn't actually like a good idea. And like this is like kind of like comes back to like the other question, like okay, how do you build these features? Well, you build them based on customer feedback, but the kind of like it's like that chicken and egg problem, right? You build based on what they say, but then like when you actually ship that one, it doesn't make any difference, so you're like so I think that's like a very like important like lesson, like whenever we're going to try to build something new, is like let's look early at the signs. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Let's say that we're building like an email marketing tool tomorrow. Okay, whatever retention and numbers we have from this one, this is basically going to be the business, right? Whatever we build on top might not actually like make any difference over here though.
Yeah, because
Yep.
I feel like to compare it to like a bigger business, then you would have your Instagram, right? And whenever when you do remember when they released stories for the first time, everyone was like,
yeah,
what is that? Like, what? Who cares? Like, we've got Snapchat already. We don't need this app, like, feature. Actually, now it's a whole new revenue, right, of marketing on stories. Like, so it's quite interesting to see that sometimes at first people are like, ew, but then actually they start using it and it just becomes the part of the product, right? It's not just a feature that brings the numbers up, but it just becomes the core of the product itself and its functionality.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think like it's like important like to just like understand who we're comparing at the same time, right? There's like all these like big platforms that like whenever they ship something is different, right? That's what I'm saying. Like I'm sure there's like other people on other platforms that have different experiences, but it's just I'm gonna give you like another example on this one. Like a few months ago, we did like a sales experiment with Clip, right? So we tried to just like get into sales. The experiment played out quite well, but the idea is like that I was using this like platform called Apollo, right? And Apollo is just like kind of like a centralized hub for sales, right? You can like prospect people, you can find decision makers, you can find information about them, but at the same time, you can also just like build the email sequences, you can just like contact these people, try to like convert them over there, even schedule meetings, they have like a Zoom integrated in the application, and also they have like a CRM function, so there's just like all these tools all in one, right? Which is like amazing, and the pricing was like super affordable, like $99 per month. But guess what? I actually only used the prospecting. Just that's it. That's it, because it's just like their CRM wasn't like really what I was looking for. It was just like too nitty gritty. It was just like, okay, I'm not. There's other CRMs that are doing a better job. The email marketing, was quite confusing. I wasn't sure like if their servers are too good. So there's other like email marketing tools that are doing like better jobs. So I feel like it's important. Yeah, it depends who we're comparing with. But again, this is our experience, and this is like what I've seen with some other tools. That I use.
So make those features, but make them great so people actually use them, essentially.
That's correct.
Essentially
That's
is
correct.
what
Just
it is.
but like build a feature that is great, build something which is great, and you solve a problem, only one problem. And like again, whatever you do afterwards, just like see if it works or not. Like I'll give you like another example. And this is the last one on this. So like with Social Cat, we've like recently launched a feature called Smart Ads, which kind of like simplifies the entire like advertising process, right? Because probably you're familiar with like Facebook ads. It's just like an entire maze over there. You get lost, to be honest with you, in Facebook Ads Manager. So we're like, okay, we've built like this feature and like it just like simplified the entire process. Instead of starting a campaign on Facebook, like with different ad sets, with just like so many metrics over there, so many ads and like so much complication, we're like, okay, let's build something very simple where you just like in under 1 minute, you just like launch an ad on Facebook and we do everything in the background, all the optimizations and just like campaigns and all that kind of like stuff. So you just like have, okay, I'm just like selecting targeting who I want to target. And obviously this is going to be broad now because just like broad works. And then you have copy and then you have creative, right? So you can even literally launch one ad in less than 1 minute and just see how that works for a brand. No one is really using this feature, to be honest with you. We're probably going to like retire this feature because it's like sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
And like it actually, the funny thing is like it works for us because I've used it for Social Cat, but like brand owners, they're like, oh, okay, I just like I don't really want to use this. Why? It's a great question. I think there's like a bit of like lack of trust in using in just like overall like meta maybe, and also like just like launching ads requires creative, requires copywriting, but also requires you to put money into it, Yeah. So Social Cat has an audience that is like small to medium-sized enterprises, and for them, like every single dollar counts, So when you're asking them to like spend an additional, I don't even know, like let's say $50 a month, when they're actually not very keen to like pay $50 for Social Cat, they're going to be like, okay, wait a second, So that's like kind of like another example though on this one.
That's definitely a big problem for brands in general, is just budgeting and even the consideration of marketing. When I would have my demo calls with my clients back in my previous office job, I would be like, look, if you are launching a company, it's just silly not to consider the marketing cost in your actual business plan, in your idea. You have to have that budget in, because let's be honest, there's no way without the digital presence to actually get something out, unless if it is a digital product, then what are we even talking about? There needs to be and as you said, like with the organic optimization, but also, the paid is just such a quintessential, the most important thing that you can do in a business, just to have this budget allocated. Because otherwise, how do you expect people to find out about your business? And it's I had a conversation with someone in the shop the other day when there was like a Saturday market in the town, and I was like, look, these people probably don't put their money into digital marketing, but they're actually here, they're actually spending time promoting their business in person. Either you're doing this or you're doing that. You have to decide, and either way, that's the only way that you can move forward, is actually you putting your time or your money into either of those.
Yeah,
For sure.
Completely agree. Yeah, I think completely agree. Nice. Well, been a great conversation.
Thank you so much.
I really hope you enjoyed it, and we'll definitely see you in another episode. Bye.